Okay, so a new series. Let me tell you about the first thing I want to talk about, and that is involving the process of creating your comic book. And I think that the most important thing is developing the right kind of mindset in putting together your story. The best way to start out with it is to be as general as you possibly can in thinking about just the experience that your reader's going to have enjoying your story in reading, whether it's a standalone one issue or it's going to be a 4, 5, 6 issue story arc. What is your reader? What do you hope to accomplish in their enjoyment, their expectations, and then keeping that mindset in your general background as you're working on the story makes it a lot easier to think about, editing, what to take out, what to cut down to make the story really lean, to allow the reader's imagination to fill in some of the gaps that you're deliberately leaving behind. The worst thing to do is to ignore that mindset and just think that everything you come up with is good, and it's just like a big infinite bucket that you fill up with your material. That is steadily going to make your reader less and less likely to want to invest the time in reading your story and getting to know your characters and following along what they're doing. Okay? Now, that leads to the next thing that is incredibly important when you're starting out, and that is coming up with the basic story arc. Now, the story arc is just the framework of things you definitely know are going to happen from start to finish. Like, let's say Raiders of the Lost Ark, the first movie back in 1982, that story arc was Indiana Jones discovers this very important religious artifact related to the Old Testament and the Bible. The Nazis want to get it too. There's a culmination where his colleague has caught the ark, he's got it, and he's going to open it, and then at the end Indiana Jones will win because he knows a little bit better about what to do and what not to do. He keeps his eyes closed. Okay. that's fine. That I'm sure that when they're writing the script, they kept those things intact, and then all the stuff that's leading up to that is going to, culminate to that. So that's what you need to think about. And in your story, that the basic story arc doesn't have to have the most fascinating and interesting stuff, but it needs to have the stuff that can't be taken out. Okay. And what I do here is, I'll show it to you the physical form, and then we'll throw up a screen grab of what it really does look like. But basically, I work in Microsoft Word using outline format and choosing bullet points and it's very, very rough, but like things that happen within the pages. And then for me, there's in light gray, smaller font, there's the page numbers, and it's done in such a way where the software in Microsoft will automatically renumber the pages as you go along. So you can literally take material and move it up and down in your story arc, so you can budget how many pages or how much page you can apply this to. And that's a really good way of having a realistic expectation of how much comic book, how much artwork can cover this material that you're doing. Now, when I get a little bit more involved, and again, I'm not going to throw every little bit of detail at you at how this is made, but here is an example of my script where I have the actual dialogue and a little thumbnail up in the corner. You see that? And there, again, with these little arrows that denote where the penciling is done, the coloring and the inking. And again, this is something where if I'm going to draw out a page, I start writing the dialogue, and I develop the thumbnail, and then I make the artwork. And for example, a really good use of this story arc outline document was in figuring out, okay, 6 issues, it starts here and it ends here. How much space is each issue going to take up? There was a question of fitting in like a flashback scene. I thought it would have to happen here in issue 6 as I'm working on, but as it happened, as I was working on the comic book, happily I was able to condense it more and make it fit into issue 5. And another kind of happy side effect of working on this outline format is that I can tinker and manipulate the density of the story as well. When I'm scripting something based on the story arc, I can intentionally put a lot of material inside of, say, issues 4 and 5, where it's very busy, a lot of scene changes, a lot of back and forth, a lot of important dialogue that you have to remember. And now that issue 6 here, this is going to be like the showdown, the final confrontation between the hero and the anti-hero, the protagonist, antagonist, and it's all going to come down to this. And I'm intentionally now drawing the story out and making it slower, fewer things happening. It's like the quiet after in a symphony where it's like da 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 dun, but it's not over yet. It's like this long pause, right? And then it'll start picking up and building up, and that's the way I was able to take advantage of that. They also call it beats, story beats in a comic. The comic itself, is it very condensed or is it very open? And that's something as a writer that you can manipulate. Next week, we'll talk more about the story arc and the specifics of how to construct one for yourself. Thank you for watching. I'm Tim Larsen. If you like this video, remember to hit the like button so that people can view and enjoy these episodes and it gets to them sooner and faster. Remember to subscribe to these videos so you'll be notified when a new one comes along. If you're watching this, chances are you're a comic book creator. I encourage you to keep practicing at your craft, no matter what you do or what you make, so you'll always be getting better at what you're working at and believing in what you do. Thanks for watching. I'm Tim Larsen.